Hello Supernatural fans, and welcome to my newest YouTube channel. My name is Amanda, and otherwise known as Winter One on everything else. So this channel is essentially my new review channel for Supernatural, mostly season 6 obviously, because that's what's going to happen this year. And to kick off the channel, I thought I'd count down my top 10 favorite episodes. First of all, that was probably the hardest thing I've done in a very long time, and I can't promise you that most of the list would stick until tomorrow, but I thought I'd give it a shot, and I hope you like it. So a couple of things you need to know about me before I get into my top 10 favorite episodes is that I am a Dean's girl, and also my favorite season was season 3. I thought it was brilliant. I thought due to the writer's strike they really had to trim off the fat of what could have been in that season and stick to what the best episodes were. So I love that season, and it was hard not to put 10 season 3 episodes on this and still include everything that's wonderful about seasons 1 through 5. So season 4 also really awesome. They're probably my two favorites, but I still love seasons 1 and 2. I feel like we're completely different from 1 and 2 right now, so I kind of miss those days. The true Impala days. Just a little bit of Supernatural history about me. I originally got into Supernatural because it had two of my favorite elements thrown in, well, 3 of my favorite elements thrown into one show, and that was the fact that growing up I was in love with the X-Files and the Hardy Boys, and Supernatural, at least at first to me, looked like this combination of the X-Files and the Hardy Boys, and I fell in love instantly. And also it includes classic culture, and if you know anything about me, you know that I'm super big on classic culture, so those elements make me really miss the first 2 seasons, but obviously the whole show is fantastic. This countdown is coming to you in 2 videos. It was a little too long to fit into one. The first one being 10 to 6, and the second one being 5 to 1. 10! So currently in my number 10 spot, I put Changing Channels, and that's the only season 5 episode I have on my top 10 list. And partially threw it on there so I would have a season 5 episode to put in there, and partially because I kind of like the developments that showed up in the episode. It was a funny episode, it was a fun episode, true Supernatural style, but it also, plus it had the Trickster. Who doesn't love the Trickster? But on top of that, we had some really major developments in the plot, and that was that the Trickster was Gabriel, which I had mixed feelings about at first, but I decided it was okay. And I really like the idea of Gabriel / the Trickster being this jaded sibling who really only sees the big or the small picture, depending on how you say it. That everything is just about him and his family, and he explains to Dean and Sam, if they already couldn't figure it out themselves, that Dean represents Michael in their own life, and Sam represents Lucifer in their own life, and that's why they're the chosen ones. Among other things, essentially, it was a good episode. 9! So, for number 9, we're going back to season 2, All Hell Breaks Loose, part 2. This episode is great for a lot of reasons. This is the Dean that, up until this point, his only mission in his life has been to save Sam, and he thinks he failed. And so we get to see that angst, and also, you know, that joy of having his brother back, and the regret that Dean should actually be dead instead of his dad, and it was just kind of a big muddled view into Dean's mind in that episode. And the other things I liked about that is that we got to see John return, and I love that it was a season closer and it tied things together and kind of ended it, but at the same time gave us a hint to look forward to season 3, and that was that Dean only has 1 more year left to live. 8. So my number 8 episode that I've chosen today is Monster at the End of This Book. And I really like that episode for, again, a number of different reasons. It paid tribute to the Supernatural fans, and we all had a great time with that one. It introduced Carver Edlund, or Chuck, who we all love. I love him, I don't know. It was, again, a really fun episode, but at the same time it moved plot along. I'm also kind of a fan of the biblical references in the series, and to find out Chuck was a prophet It was kind of a cool thing. 7. So number 7, I have Bad Day at Black Rock. One of the reasons why I didn't want to include this episode is because it was kind of more of a fun episode instead of a plot-related episode, arguably. But it's one of those episodes that you can watch over and over again and not get sick of it. Even as a Dean girl, I thought it was a fantastic, fun episode. And season 3, I love all of the season 3 episodes, so I don't think there's too much to say about it. I was even like an aw Sam girl in that episode, especially when he lost his shoe. I also think that episode encompassed a lot of what Supernatural is about, and that is that it was creepy and it was funny and it was witty, and I also loved Bella. I really miss Bella. I loved her a lot, so 6. So my number 6 choice was Yellow Fever. And I picked this one for the same reasons I picked Bad Day at Black Rock. They kind of go hand in hand. It was like the Dean version of Bad Day at Black Rock, where he's having just a horrible day and Sam has to take care of him, essentially. Not only was it super hilarious, but it was also really, really heartbreaking. You get to see the after effect that Hal has had on Dean, and you get to see how frightened he is about his time spent. It's definitely one of those episodes where you just wanted to hold them, and us Dean girls love those. I also really liked little girl Lilith. I'm very disappointed by adult Lilith. She wasn't nearly as fun and not nearly as creepy. She just kind of came off as annoying. But little Lilith was creepy, and you really looked forward to what else she had to bring to the boys, what else she could knock them around with. So, and even though she was just in Dean's imagination in that episode, I think it really was